Well, that was so much fun at Bristol, baby. That was the best time. So, to recap what happened, let's get into it. Number one, Kurt Busch, who earlier the past few weeks has been reported that he's not going to be with Stewart-Haas Racing anymore. He's possibly going to Chip Ganassi Racing. Put together his 30th career win at the Bass Pro Shops NRA night race. And I couldn't be happy for Kurt Busch winning it over the 42 of Kyle Larson, the 9 of Chase Elliott, the 22 of Joey Logano, and the 20 of Eric Jones. Kurt Busch, if you look at the front of his race car, is punched in, like it's damaged because he was involved in the big wreck early on in the race, but he was able to put down some bare bond tape and was able to keep going, and he ran top 5 most of the night. Wasn't really a dominant car, but you got to admit what Billy Scott and the crew did to fix that car and make it raceable was pretty impressive, and really happy for Kurt Busch. And I hope he can re-sign with Stewart-Haas Racing because I feel like that's the best way to continue to try and win races and probably maybe finish out his career with. But we'll see what happens, but hopefully I hope for the best for Kurt Busch. Number 2, his brother Kyle Busch. Wow. Where do I begin with Kyle Busch? Lap 3 on the inside of Blaney gets loose and spins around into the traffic, causing a major problem, and he got banged by both sides from Jesse Little, Michael McDowell, AJ Allmendinger, Greg Golding. Those guys piled into Kyle Busch. That car was trash. He was 3 laps down. Got all those 3 laps back, though, because that car kept passing clean cars even with no damage. And, because aerodynamics isn't a big thing at Bristol, and he just, rocketed straight to the front, in the later stage of the race to get up to 3rd before contact with the 78 car, then getting more contact with Jimmy Johnson and Chris Buescher late in the race and catching tire and spun him around, hitting the wall, and he still was able to fix the car and finish in 23 laps down. I mean, I'll admit, as much as I don't like Kyle Busch, he is a great race car driver. What he can do even with a damaged car like that, that's talent, and that is a champion right there, sort of. Number 3, the young guns. All year long we've been talking about what can the young guns do against the veterans? How will they be able to step up against them as far as winning races, top 5s, top 10s, leading laps, all the things? Early the year, mostly it's been the big 3. But the later stages of the last few races, including last night, I think we saw a lot of the young guns. I mean, they absolutely performed. I mean, we saw Kyle Larson up front, a pole, but he slipped to the back, was able to work his way back to the front. Ryan Blaney won stage 1 for a guy that was dominant in the spring before he got involved in a wreck. And, we did a good job with that, but, hit the wall, little portion, finished in 7th spot. Chase Elliott ran up front. Eric Jones was up front. I mean, a lot of the young guns had a pretty solid night. Austin Dillon was in the top 10. I mean, give credit to Austin Dillon because, the last race at Michigan, they had a really good run. I know they finished 13th, but they still had a solid race. It was a good race for most of the young guns last night. Number 4, the Martin Truex Jr. Kyle Busch incident. So Kyle Busch, obviously I talked about how he's 3 laps down. Martin Truex Jr. struggled most of the night until the later stage of the race. He took a 2-tire stop, got himself to the top 5, contended for the lead with Clint Bowyer, but unfortunately, as Kyle Busch was coming off of turn 4, he got a huge rocket, and Truex, he came up a little bit into Truex, not intentionally though. It was just racing. Kyle felt bad for it. But Truex got knocked down to the safer Barry wall, came back on the track and ricocheted into the 7 of J.J. Elley, who hit hard. Luckily, J.J. Elley and Martin Truex Jr. were okay, but Truex kicked the car when he got out of the car because he knew the thing was trash. Very upset. I mean, and Sherry Pollux tweeted Kyle Busch as a moron, but, you can't really put too much blame on Kyle Busch because it was kind of a racing deal. There's not much you could really do about it at all. So it's how it is. And number 5, the racing I thought was the best. I mean, not just for my first time at Bristol, I thought it was the best Bristol night race I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, we've been losing hype for the last few years. Plus 2016, we had to postpone most of it to the Sunday because we had rain. But this night race lived up to the hype. I mean, and the bottom groove and the top groove, I was a little bit worried about the top groove being the advantage. The bottom groove seemed to work a lot. Like we saw the old Bristol with the new Bristol, come together last night, and it was perfect. I think the fans got their money's worth last night, and I thought it was a solid race. And finally, to recap, Chase Elliott, we finished in 3rd spot. We led laps. We came close to winning stage 2, but Joey Logano got us. But overall, it was a solid night for the 9 team. And the last few weeks, Chase Elliott has absolutely upped their program. And, we were able to be up front and leading laps and contending for stage wins and contending for race wins like we did at Watkins Glen and won it. And now, with 2 races to go, I think Chase Elliott's hitting his stride to possibly contend for the championship. So we have an off week coming up. So time for the drivers to relax, get the strain from the guys that are trying to make the playoffs out of their heads. Then they'll rebound and will be at the Lady in Black, the track too tough to tame, Darlington on Labor Day weekend with so many throwback schemes. Still, there are some other throwback schemes out there that have yet to be released, but I can't wait to see most of them. So who will win the Southern 500? Will the big three step up after they had kind of a rough Bristol outing? Or will the young guns step up against them? Only time will tell. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Congrats to the Outlaw, Kurt Busch, on his 30th career win. Have a wonderful off week.